U2 American professional boxer, entrepreneur, pastor, and writer George Edward Foreman was born on January 10, 1949, and passed away on March 21, 2025. Between 1967 to 1997, he was known as Big George in the world of boxing. He won the gold medal at the Olympics and was champion of the world heavyweight division twice. His business venture, the George Foreman Grill, brought him fame. Upon his passing, George's net worth reached $300 million. George had saved over $5 million from his boxing career earnings between 1969 and 1977. In today's money, that would be equivalent to about $20 million. 10 years into his retirement, in 1987, George was penniless due to a string of poor investments and an excessively lavish way of living. He had to unretire from boxing due to his financial issues, but he made a remarkable return in the 90s. You undoubtedly already know that George Foreman did not amass $300 million in net worth through boxing. He was worth hundreds of millions of dollars when he passed away, and you probably already know that much of it originated from one simple but amazing idea. In 1994, the George Foreman Grill, a lean, mean, fat-reducing grilling machine, came out and changed the game for home cooking. Foreman said that his success was because of his nutritious diet when he returned from retirement. Salton, Inc., which makes a fat-burning grill, approached him because they needed a spokesperson. In 2009, more than 100 million George Foreman grills were sold. Foreman has been tight-lipped about his endorsement earnings, although in 1999, Salton paid him $138 million to use his name. Prior to that, he received approximately 40% of the revenues from each grill sold, which amounted to $4.5 million per month at its peak, and brought in an estimated total of over $200 million from the sponsorship until 2011, which was far more than his earnings as a boxer. In the beginning at Marshall, Texas, George Foreman entered this world. Hailing from Houston, Texas's Fifth Ward neighborhood, he was one of 6 brothers. Although George was brought up by J.D. Ufferman, his mother had wed him when he was a little boy. Leroy Moorhead was actually his biological father. The author of George's memoirs freely admits that he had a turbulent youth. He was a mugger for a while after dropping out of school when he was 15 years old. After watching an advertisement for Job Course on television when he was 16 years old, Foreman persuaded his mother to enroll him in the program. Foreman was able to get his GAD and learned carpentry and bricklaying while enrolled in Job Corps. He started training after relocating to Pleasanton, California, with the assistance of a supervisor. Foreman had a passion for football and looked up to Jim Brown, but he decided to pursue boxing instead. Close personal relationships between 1985 and the year of his demise. Foreman wed Mary Joan Martelli. From 1971 to 1974, he was married to Adrian Calhoun. From 1977 to 1979, to Cynthia Lewis. From 1981 to 1982 to Sharon Goodson, and from 1982 to 1985 to Andrea Skeets. He had 4 prior marriages. 5 sons and 7 daughters made up Foreman's 12 offspring. Of his 5 sons, Little Joey, George I, George IV Big Wheel, George V Red, and George V I Monk are those names. I wanted my boys to have something in common, so I called them George Edward Foreman. Foreman writes on his website, "I tell them that when one of us rises, we all rise together, and when one falls, we all fall together." George I has followed in his father's footsteps by becoming a successful businessman and boxer. George IV competed on American Grit, 2nd season, and finished in 8th place. His 7 daughters are named Courtney, Isabella, Frida, Natalia, Meche, and Georgetta. His children with Mary Joan Martelli are Natalia and Leola. Georgetta Frida, and Meshe were his daughters from different relationships. Isabella Brandy, Lelia Foreman, and Courtney Isaac Foreman are his daughters, whom he adopted in 2009 and 2012, respectively. Frida, a professional boxer with a 5-1 record, retired in 2001 and died of what appears to be suicide in 2019 at the age of 42. Isabella Foreman is a Swedish blogger who has been writing under the pseudonym Bella Nutella since 2010. At its 95th The National Convention in 2013, the American Legion presented Foreman with the James V. Day Good Guy Award in appreciation of his civic engagement and patriotism. Vehicle assortment, with over 50 historic and enthusiast vehicles up for auction. All without a minimum bid, George Foreman revealed in November 2023 that he would be using Haggerty Marketplace to sell his cherished collection. Collectors from all around the globe showed a lot of interest in the online auction, which ran until December 21, 2023, and the results were astounding. The collection included a wide range of vehicles, from rare exotics to muscle cars and luxury tours, and the bidding process reflected the celebrity connections and condition of each vehicle. All things considered, the sale was a smashing success, and it provided the perfect platform for Foreman to display his lifelong love of cars. A few standout moments from the sale are presented below. Ford GT from 2005. The Crimson supercar had fewer than 790 kilometers and fetched $330,000. About $125,000 was the asking price for the classic Sebring Silver 1963 Chevrolet Corvette split-window fully coupe. Foreman's 1987 Ferrari Testarossa, which he has owned since 1992, has logged just 3,400 miles. A price tag of $143,000 was attached to this vintage beauty. This sleek 1959 Chevrolet Impala Tri-Power convertible, with its black exterior and crimson interior, fetched $153,000 at auction. About $115,000 was the selling price of Foreman's decked-out 1999 Prevost Vontari H345 VIP touring coach. Housing market. In the 1970 ES, George Foreman trained on a 4-acre ranch in Livermore, California, where he was known to keep exotic pets such as tigers and lions. After he retired and became a pastor in 1977, he sold it. Foreman moved his family to Kingwood, a wealthy Houston suburb, in the 1990 C, and lived in a large house with a pool until he sold it and kept the title. Simultaneously, he bought a 300-acre ranch in his hometown of Marshall, Texas. Along with his many animals, including horses, cattle, and a variety of critters, this farm became his rural hideaway. For $2.3 million in 2002, he acquired a lavish Malibu townhouse with a beachfront location. He used it as a getaway when he visited Los Angeles. He constructed his most extravagant mansion on 29 acres near Hoffman, Texas, in the early 2000s. Nearly 12,000 square feet of living space and an 11,000